Now the funny thing with Sony Animation is that 15 years ago, almost all their films were complete trash. But very recently, starting with Into the Spider-Verse, Sony has made some really good animated films. And I'm glad to say that that trend continued with K-pop Demon Hunter. Let's review it. So let me just start off by saying I love the animation style that this movie took. Sony's the one that made that Into the Spider-Verse animation style, which is now a new thing Hollywood is doing with most of their animated movies, and that's thanks to this studio from Into the Spider-Verse. And they're bringing a new form of animation here too. It's kind of like the stop-motion anime style. When it comes to the characters' facial expressions, or just the way they move, it's either stop-motion or anime style, and it works for how the movie is laid out. The animation is able to match the tone, the theme of the movie. And that's why animation is just a type of art that you can't get in live action. You can do the animation style to match the tone of the movie. Live action is just live action. But animation, you can do all these creative things because it's animated. You can make it more artistic. And this movie does that. It did that for Across the Spider-Verse, and it continues that with K-pop Demon Hunter. And the concept of the film is new, original, and interesting. You take this idea of hunting demons. That has been done over and over again. But then you add this K-pop idea to it, where they have to become a band, K-pop type music, just so they can protect this barrier around the demons. That is a cool, original concept. It's a risk that they're willing to take, and it absolutely paid off. Just every story idea around this concept all worked. It's a new original idea, it's a new original risk that they're willing to take, and it worked. Music is a huge part of this film, it's part of the story, and when it comes to just every single song in this movie, it's catchy. It's stuck in your mind right away, right after they're done singing it. You're over here humming along to it, even after it's over. All these songs are very catchy. All of them feel like boy band type music, which it should, because that's what the characters in the movie are doing. They're singing that type of music. So, every single song in this movie matches that K-pop feel to it. Making every single song in here catchy. Music is a huge part of this movie, and every single song in here is catchy. They're not like Disney movies where all these characters just start breaking out singing. The music fits the tone of the movie, because it is the story of the movie. And it's catchy while doing so. Now this movie is tackling a theme that has been done countless of times across movies. But since this movie is so risky with its story, since its original concept is very original and risky, the theme finds its own unique way into making itself into the story. So the theme doesn't feel as reused anymore because of this movie's unique original concept and risk that it's willing to take. That the theme, although we've done it so many times, it still works just the same because it feels new, because of this new flavor throughout the entire movie. We told some of these story beats before, but since it's a new concept, new original story, it doesn't feel reused. And that's what risky movies can do. Yes, you have an original concept, but if you throw a risk factor in there, you can make something special, hence what this movie did. And because of the theme, you like these characters even more. Just the character dynamic of these bands is what holds the movie together. The dynamic between these characters, without that, this movie wouldn't be the same thing. But it's because of that dynamic with each character that these more emotional moments just hit more. Because without that emotional gut punch at the end, the humor, their dynamic, it all wouldn't be the same movie. All these different ideas that I have talked about in this section all come together to make this movie. If just one thing is off, the movie wouldn't be the same thing, but thanks to this huge risk that they're willing to take, this original concept, this original story, it all works, making this movie. Everything this movie needed to be, this studio knew it and absolutely delivered on that idea. What Disney used to be, what Pixar used to be, Pixar, back in the 2000s, every single movie they made was an absolute hit. That entire era of Pixar shapes most of my favorite movies of all time. Same thing with Disney. In that 90s era, they were known. That's what makes Disney popular, that's what makes Pixar popular. Just that era. But recently, those two studios haven't been the same. Pixar's Elio, huge flop, and it's forgettable. Disney, Moana 2, Wish, Strange World, pretty weak films. The studios aren't just the same as they used to be, but Sony Animations this decade has given us some great animated films. And K-Pop Demon Hunter continued that trend of great animated films. Sony Animation is doing the job of what Disney and Pixar was. Sony Animation is holding that in place. But not every movie is perfect. Real quick, if you want to help me reach my goal of 1K by the end of the year, consider subscribing. Let's continue. I did mention before how this theme in this movie has been done countless of times. In the final act, where the theme is resolved and all that, you can kind of feel it, because the final act is definitely the weakest act of this entire movie. Because it's tackling the theme that's been done before, and I feel like there could have been a better way at just resolving the story. And the final act just feels like we've done this before. The entire rest of the movie doesn't feel like that, but just the final act feels like we've done this before, there's nothing new here, which does bring down the movie a bit for me, because just the rest of the film before that was really strong. But just the final act feels like we've done this before. You could have changed it up just a little bit. But other than that, go on Netflix right now and watch K-Pop Demon Hunter. Sony does it again this decade, and we get K-Pop Demon Hunter taking the mantle of what Pixar was, what Disney was, and gives us this movie. Besides for the final act that could have been a bit better, the rest of the movie is still worth watching. The entire movie is still worth watching. It's the original idea that gives you exactly what you want from animation. Guys, if you like this video, maybe these ones on the side of this video too, like, subscribe, see you guys next time. Goodbye.